What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming to you guys with, of course, another video for the Speed Duels starter decks, Masters, Destiny's Masters, and Duelist of Tomorrow. But this first three sets will now be focusing on the actual decks that were comprised of the holders of Millennium items, Yami Yugi, Maximilian Pegasus, and Ishizu Ishtar. These three builded up starter deck Destiny Masters. And with it being over 5 years old now, it's of course time to go ahead and talk about these starter decks the starter decks in the individual decks that were within them. Now, I cannot wait to talk about these because, of course, they're going to feature tons and tons of cards. So for each one, respectively, I will do a deck profile for each one and go over my thoughts on each. Now, for the first one, of course, we're going to start off with our main man, Yami Yugi. Atem, Yugimoto, whichever one you want to call him, that is up to you. But the cards do state that he is Yami Yugi, unfortunately. So the Pharaoh in the next in line to ancient Egypt's rule. We have Yami Yugi with his ace monster in the monster that's on the cover of his particular deck, the Dark Magician. So this starter deck does focus on playing Spellcasters and setting up for Spellcaster plays, basically to help you bring out your Dark Magician and win you the game. Now, the particular card that they wanted to showcase in ultra rare to fit for Yugi was Shard of Greed. Shard of Greed is a continuous spell that says each time you draw during your normal draw phase, you can place one greed counter on this card. You can send this card to the graveyard when it has 2 or more greed counters on it to draw 2 cards. This is basically just a way to set up for, well, multiple drawing. And this was actually a pretty old card because this card was actually released during the Zexal era of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a way to just basically have a continuous spell to cheat out some things or to help out with playing spell counters and stuff like that. So, with that in turn, while we go ahead and open up this deck. So when you do open it, as you can see here on the back, just like a regular structure deck, it will give you each of the cards that are listed in it. And then you can rip this little piece of cardboard here to open up the deck itself, which was inside. Now, to show you off the content that's inside, I'm going to give you a full proper deck profile for this. So, starting off are the monsters, and there are at least 4 normal monsters. We have Yugi's Dark Magician with 2 copies of Rogue Doll and 1 copy of Feral Imp. Then we have 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl, 2 copies of Legion the Fiend Jester, 1 copy of Stern Mystic, one copy of Double Cast On, and 1 copy of Blue Dragon Summoner. And that is it for all the monsters. Sorry, let me get this in order for you guys so you can see it properly. Alright, then we're going to move on into the spells. Just give me 1 second. For the spell cards that they chosen to give in this deck, they started off with, of course, the iconic Thousand Knives, Sage's Stone. Hold on, we're going to do it like this. Sage's Stone, Dark Magic Attack, Ryoku, Tribute Doll, and Wonder Wand. So that is it for the spells. Then going into the trap cards, they gave Life Force Sword, Magician Circle, Magic Jammer, and 7 Tools of the Bandit. Sorry if you can't see the Magic Jammer, that's simply because of a glare that I cannot fix. So, oopsies. Then we have the skill cards that they gave for Yugi, and they are Power of Dark, Destiny Draw, and Final Draw. So these are all the cards that you'll see when you get one of these starter decks. Now, let's talk about Yugi's overall deck. So this is basically catering to our boy Yami Yugi, and of course him being the original owner of the Dark Magician. And they, funny enough, don't use the classic artwork for Dark Magician. They kind of use one of his alternate arts, which is based off of some of the stuff from the manga, where he is summoned in some panels or even makes his appearance in the panels themselves. Which I believe this Dark Magician is coming from the same panel that the Blue Eyes White Dragon appeared in his tablet form. I mean, with the tablet in his background, to depict the battle between the Great Pharaoh and the priest that challenged the Pharaoh. So Dark Magician, as we all know, is a level 7 Dark Attribute Spellcaster type normal monster with 2500 attack and 2100 defense. Of course, the poster child for the boss monster for the faithful Yugi Moto and Yami Yugi. To go and complement this, they gave 2 copies of Rogue Doll. Now, I think for the most part, with these normal spellcasters, they're just easy fit-ins to it as beatdown in a way. Because, of course, this is how they started off the game. You know, classic beatdown and stuff. And it kind of just pays homage to how regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Was started, where there was a lot of classic beatdown stuff in there as well. While you didn't have 1900 B-Stick, or even 1800 B-Sticks till later on, you just circumvented of what cards you use. So Rogue Doll was probably a good choice. But here's the thing though. Neo the Mystic Swordsman. Spellcaster, 1700. We couldn't give him Wajin, of course, because that's for Kaiba. I'm trying to think of some other spellcasters. Illusionist, Trickster, or I think that's his name. It's like a level 4 Dark Attribute spellcaster. 1500 attack, 1600 defense. Maybe that was a little too high. But I guess if they want to rock the Rogue Doll, then just rock the Rogue Doll. Because Marcel Loomis and Umbra owned Rogue Dolls. And funny enough, we're going to see Rogue Doll again in another deck. But yeah, Rogue Doll makes her appearance quite often. Of course, another classic Yugi monster is his Feral Imp. Just as probably just another staple in for nostalgia. The Dark Magician Girl, because if we couldn't have the ever faithful servant, we have to have the apprentice to the faithful servant. Dark Magician Girl gains 300 attack and defense for each Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either graves. Funny enough, Dark Magician Girl also faced the same issue as the Magician of Black Chaos, was not released till another wave of support came for Speed Duels. So it kind of just was even more iconic for Yu-Gi-Oh! To do that even in Speed Duel. Legion, the Fiend Jester. This was a monster used by Arcana, but is being used here to support Yugi for its effect. So this level 4 Dark Attribute Spellcaster type monster with 1300 attack, 1500 defense. Says during your main phase, you contribute 1 spellcaster monster that's face up in attack position to gain an additional normal summon or set this turn. You only gain this effect once a turn. Then, if this card was sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 spellcaster normal monster from your deck or grave to your hand. You can only use this effect of Legion the Fiend Jester once per turn. So basically, if Dark Magician was in your grave, or you want to search out stuff like Rogue Doll, you can easily just tribute. You can easily have this monster be sent to the graveyard for either tribute or card effects, and then be able to pick up one of those from the deck and put them into your deck or grave and put them into your hand. The Stern Mystic, basically here just to take a peek at set cards. I didn't really think this was actually a needed strategy. It's probably just another way of just saying we needed some more fill-ins for cards, so that's probably why they printed it. I'm going to move everybody over just a tad bit because we still have a couple of more monsters to look at. Double Cast On, and that's here just to be a good tribute fodder for Dark Magician, seeing as how it's a double tribute for any Dark monster that needs or requires 2 tributes. And then Blue Dragon Summoner, that when this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can add 1 Dragon, Warrior, or Spellcaster normal monster from your deck to your hand. So if this card was basically used for tribute for like Dark Magician Girl, it will trigger and then allow you to search out for your Dark Magician. Your Dark Magicians or your Rogue Dolls to help back up your Dark Magician Girl, or just utilize the combination to get the Dark Magician onto the board. So while this seems like a really decent amount of start, I have to say, just for a starter deck overall, it at least does something. Which is still, like I said, it's a great way to get everybody in. Then you can just mix and match the stuff that you want to from the other decks. So we're going to move on from the monsters, and now we're going to take a look at the spells. Of course, this is Dark Magician, so they had to equate for 3 spells for Dark Magician. Sage of Stone, Dark Magic Attack, and Thousand Knives. Thousand Knives in Dark Magic Attack can only be activated when Dark Magician is on the field. Thousand Knives single target destroys 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field. And Dark Magic Attack is basically Harpie's Feather Duster for Dark Magician. The short also traps your opponent controls. Sage's Stone. Sorry, I forget they're like very high up because I can't really see on my end. So let me try to fix that. Sage's Stone. This is a card that allows you to special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or deck if you have Dark Magician Girl on the field. While she's an easy tribute summon, of course, you're easy to then just go ahead and drop your Dark Magician off of the Sage's Stone so that the Powerhouse duo can be on the board. Then from there, we have a lot of other spells that I cannot believe in here. Ryoku, of all things. I think this is probably just here just to add some added pressure and to help you win the game. This was a card used against Yugi and Joey during their duel against Para and Dox. And then when I believe it was I think it was Joey that copycatted it, and it allowed them to use Ryoku to power up their Black Skull Dragon, and then use that to help them win the game. Of course, with Dragon Nails that they got off of Rex and Mai from the duel Joey had with Rex Raptor. Then we have Tribute Doll, which is just basically here to help you tribute summon your Dark Magician with more ease. And then Wonder Wand to power up your Spellcasters. And if you needed to, you can send this card to the graveyard with the Spellcaster in hand. In name, to then go ahead and draw 2 cards off of it. I love Wonder Wand in the main game because it was just a lot of power crap for a equip spell to really just help out with things, especially because it was draw power and gave attack buff to a Spellcaster. So that is it for all of those. And then for the trap cards, another iconic Yugi card, Life Force Sword. Take a card randomly in your opponent's hand, and then they have to wait 4 standby phases in order to get the card back. Just pretty much a stall card. Magician's Circle to help you get out another spellcaster on the field when one of your spellcasters is attacking, forcing out spellcasters in your opponent's deck to come out, as well as being able to summon your spellcaster, which most of the time your target is probably going to be the Dark Magician Girl. For counters, they put in probably 2 of the most iconic ones, Magic Jammer and 7 Tools of the Bandit. I love me some 7 Tools and Magic Jammer because they are OG Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the game that definitely were here's how the game started, let's counteract some things. Let's negate those spells and stop those traps. Magic Jammer by discarding a card from your hand, and 7 Tools by paying 1,000 of your life points. Alright, so that is it for the main deck, total of 20. For the skill cards, which are very simple ones, Power of Dark. This basically it treats itself as the field spell Yami, which gives all fiend and spellcaster type monsters 200 attack and defense, while lowering the attack and defense of all fairy type monsters by 200. This is basically just a way to cheat out Yami, which is funny because there is a starter. One of the starter decks has Yami. Yeah, I know. Then we look over and we have Destiny Draw. So just the iconic, skill that Yugi Moto has thanks to his Millennium item. If you have 2,000 or more life, if you lose 2,000 or more life points, you can activate this card during your next draw phase. You can search your deck for any card and add it to your hand instead of doing your normal draw phase. Once this is done, you can then flip this card over. So basically, when you know you're at your wit's end, if you've lost the large amount of those life points, which are 2,000 or more, search out any card and add it to your hand. Then the last skill is Final Draw. Now this is a big one and a big gambit. Now you can only activate this skill during your main phase. The ability of the skill is once a turn. During your turn, you may place a counter on this card. Once this card has 3 counters, you can remove the counters from it during your normal draw phase. Instead of drawing, you can search your deck for any card and add it to your hand. At the end of the turn, you use this skill, you lose the duel. So you have to hurry and win the game while playing this card. It's like I said, it's the final draw. It's a really big gamble, but if you have everything you need, you can win yourself the game. So I thought it was very cool that they had put all this together, especially with Final Draw, because at that point, if you're searching for any card in your deck to put in your hand, you better be winning that turn. My overall thesis on this starter deck is, honestly, it's a really good one to start off for Yugi or fans of Yugi Moto, and it's, like I said, it's a really cool startup. It has, potential stuff to support for Dark Magician Summon, playing out your Spellcasters, And heck, like I said, you can mix and match things. Remember, there weren't no restrictions with things for this deck, so you can use 3 of, you know, your Dark Magicians, Dark Magician Girls, Fijian the Lean Jester, and stuff like that. If there anything, I can give suggestions of Speed Duel cards in the comment section below, whether they're from this one or from some of the packs themselves. I mean, you can easily find Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl support, and just support for Spellcasters in general. So, let me know what you think in the comment section about this video. What do you guys think about Yugi's incorporation to Destiny Masters? Did you like the red cards that they gave him? What cards would you have given, you know, for a starter deck like this? And what did you like about it overall? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll have more videos from the other 2 duelists in Destiny Masters, and I'll also be doing videos for the ones of the duelists of tomorrow. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to inform you of when I upload more content to my channel. My social media links are in the description box below, and check out the playlist for more content. Thanks everybody for watching. HPJ signing out.